There's something to be said for sometimes you get into a major metropolis, and usually those crowds are a little bit more reserved than when you get out into, say, you know, some of the smaller townships around. But London fucking doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff, you know. London, fuck man, they fucking kick ass.
I love London. I love it. I love that venue because it's got a lot of history, and I've played there a few times. It's got a vibe. It's funny with London and the UK in general. As the years have gone on, I grow more and more fond of it, and I think for me personally, it's because in a way it's kind of ground zero, not just for Slash the Conspirators, but also for Alter Bridge, and then also the solo thing. That part of the world has been so good to the things that I've been involved with that it kind of feels like a second home.
Miles is great on stage. We hit it off when we first started working together. It was sort of like, almost like we knew each other for a long time. Like we just started working together pretty effortlessly. And the first show that we ever did together, I think, was at the Roxy in Los Angeles. And it never gave me any reason to think, you know, to think about it while we were up there. And we just sort of fell naturally into doing whatever it is that he and I individually do as a sort of as a team. And it's been like that ever since. So it's just been natural. The time has gone by so quickly. I mean, I remember very clearly the first tour and all the subsequent tours, and it just doesn't seem like that long ago. We were talking about a show that we did at one point, and it was like 5 years ago. It's like, fuck, man, it goes by so quickly, you know. But we have done, you know, 3 records and 3 pretty lengthy tours and supportive. Actually 4, really, when it comes down to it. It's been a gas, and we built up a pretty awesome following, and totally in an organic way, you know, just going out there and playing and word of mouth.
I mean, I think the whole entity has a thing. It's got a sound. It's got a, you know, the way Brent approaches the drums, his feel, and the way he you know, 2 and 4 with the snare, where he puts his pocket. It's very Brent, and the way, you know, Todd plays the bass and his vocals in particular. I mean, he's the secret weapon. And Frank is just crazy talented. Very rarely do I ever hear a mistake, because I have him in the right side of my in-ears, you know. It's always just spot on. He's a machine. And besides that, you get off stage and everybody's cool as fuck, you know. There's no weird ego trips in this band whatsoever. You never have to worry about that. Everybody gets along really well. I've said that for years, that this is a very unique organization, not just with the band, but with the crew. It's so functional. And I probably shouldn't say that, because people probably want to hear, oh, they're fighting and it's, you know, dysfunctional and it's parties and they're medicating. It's like, no, I'm sorry, wrong, not this camp. It's we get to the bus and it's like as boring as it gets, because it's just like just even keel. But that's a good thing, because I think it helps us stay. I don't know, the music, I feel like, never suffers. I feel like everybody's here for the right reason. It's all about the songs. It's all about making sure the performances are great, and ultimately the fans leave happy.
There's a couple crew guys that I've worked with over the years. I mean, Sam, who does he's like a wardrobe and everything else, kind of all-around guy. I met him when we were doing Velvet Revolver back in 2004. 2005, whenever that tour started. And Adam Day, my guitar tech, I've been working with since 1988. And then, let's see, Craig, who's subbing for Adam right now. He was out working with Richard on the Guns N' Roses tour. And then Quake, who is the sound man, production manager, he was my sound guy and tour manager for Snake Pit back in the second incarnation of Snake Pit back in 1999 or whatever. So I've known these guys. I've been through a lot with them. Quake was with me when I pretty much died at one point, and he was the one that got me to the hospital. So, you know, he and I have some history. And then, you know, the drum tech was working with Guns N' Roses, and the other guitar tech, Ace, was my guitar tech for a while. And yeah, so it's very much sort of a family kind of a thing. And Cheryl, we've been working with for a long time, but she worked with Steve Tyler, who is like family to me as well.
I think that if you're going to commit to being in a number of projects, and then those projects end up doing way better than you imagine, and that's going to require that you're on the road a hell of a lot. You have to change your mindset. I did an interview with a journalist a few years ago. He said something that really stuck with me. He was talking about another artist that he knows who tours relentlessly as well. And the artist brought up the idea that you wake up one day and you just realize that this is home. You know, you can't think about, oh, when am I getting home? It's like, this is where I live. And that really stuck with me, and I've adopted that philosophy myself to where this is my life and I love it. And I fortunately have an incredible wife who gives me a hall pass in that respect and gets it and supports it. I think if I had a spouse who didn't understand that and wanted me home all the time, this would be really difficult.
First and foremost, we just dig the record. We had a great time making it. I think it shows a certain kind of evolution from the last record, you know, and from each record seems to have progressed, you know, and the band just gets better and the songs get better, and the chemistry just keeps developing. So it's always in a forward motion, which is great. We didn't start at a certain place and slowly start rolling backwards. Yeah, so we, you know, had a great time making this record. It came out sounding really raw and natural, and the energy's there, and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, we put it out, and then the response to it has been fucking great, you know. So all in all, this whole sort of living the dream thing has been a gas.
You know, I think, especially on this tour, seeing how the song, not just the songs from this record are going over, but just, I guess, our catalog that we've developed over the last almost decade. It's really interesting to see that the material has kind of made its way into the psyche of the fan base. To the point where they know the song so well and get excited. Oh, you know, he'll start playing an intro and, oh, that's Anastasia, I love this song. I think that has really become evident for me, at least on this run, just how much the songs mean to people. That's pretty special. As a songwriter, those are the moments that really make you aware of the power of songs, you know, and just seeing people get excited. Man, it's a beautiful thing, for sure.
Cheryl for chemo.
Go for chemo.
You ready? Stage left.
Copy, we are ready.
Cheryl for Quake. Kill those house lights and roll that lovely intro that we love so much.
Copy that, here we go.
I'm inspired by the same things, you know, that turned me on when I first started. I think that there's something about performing music and playing music and going out and performing it that you're constantly chasing. It's sort of the ultimate buzz, you know, when it all clicks. There's really nothing like it, and unlike drugs, it's something you can get away with doing constantly, and the more you do, nothing bad's gonna happen to you. And so, for me, just going out on stage every night it's that turn on that I can't really verbally explain, but it's what keeps you doing it. It's what's been keeping me doing it for the last, I'm not even going to count the years at this point. And so every night still, chasing that magic, and when it happens, it's fucking euphoric. I just love it.